Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thanks so much for stopping by and checking this video out. My name is Ashley, and today I have a super fun video for you guys. I posted for a Q&A on my Instagram, so if you're not following me on Instagram, you definitely want to do that. I will leave a little thing going across the screen right here, so that the next time I do a Q&A, you might participate if you have a question for me. It's been a while since I've done a Q&A, and I think that they're fun to do, not necessarily because I'm super interesting, but because it helps you guys get to know me better, and then it also lets me see the kind of things that you guys are wondering about. So I just think they're fun to do, and so I like to do them on my channel every now and then. I got a lot of questions, so I'm gonna just jump right in. I'm gonna get through it. All these came from Instagram. So if you happen to be watching this video and you are someone who left me one of these questions and I totally butcher your Instagram name, I'm really sorry. You guys know on Instagram that not everyone's name is their actual name. So forgive me if I get some of these wrong. Rachel asked me, will I be using Sonlight again? And she asked two things. So the first part of her question, will I be using Sonlight again? For our core, no, I will not be using Sonlight again. But for language arts, for my, currently third grade moving into fourth grade, I will be using it because I already own it because his older sister just used it. And so I am going to use that, the language arts with the readers for him again. But for the core, I will not be using Sonlight again. And also for science, you guys already probably have seen that video. I will not be using Sonlight Science for the upcoming school year. Rachel also asked me, what is my favorite indulgent treat? And I kind of laughed at this because you guys know I post a lot of fitness content on here, but I definitely have a splurge every now and then. So it would have to be like frozen yogurt with candy on it for sure, just fully loaded up. But I do love French fries. I know that that sounds funny, but French fries dipped in ranch is probably my most disgusting indulgent treat. So there you go, kind of funny. Okay, Carol asked me, why am I so cute? Which I thought was so funny. But I just had to say that because she's so funny. And then when do I order my curriculum? So I generally start ordering my curriculum for homeschooling in the spring to early summer of kind of the year coming up. I definitely always look for used curriculum. I definitely keep my eyes open for that. And then I price it out and I find the best deals for sure. So that takes a little bit of time. Plus I want to have time to look at YouTube videos if there's anything I'm considering before I buy it. I usually will not just buy something blindly. I like to know people have used it or where I can actually see the inside of it. So flip throughs on YouTube definitely help me. So I order my curriculum usually in the spring to early summer. And then favorite places to order from. I definitely get a lot off of Amazon, but christianbook.com seems to have the best prices on the stuff that I am always looking for. So aside from ordering from the curriculum company themselves, I definitely order from christianbook.com the most. Amanda asked me a really good question. She asked me if I had any critics in my family when we decided to start homeschooling our kids. And I definitely want to say we probably did, but they didn't tell us. I think anytime you choose something that isn't considered normal, then you're going to have people kind of whoa, why are they doing that? But no one was rude. Everyone just kind of kept their opinions to themselves, which was what we had hoped for. But now we definitely have a lot of support from certain family members because they've seen how awesome it's been and the impact that it's had on some of my kids and just their personalities. And there's definitely a lot of positives. So I do feel for the most part, our family does support us. And if they don't let us know. So Tough to say. I think some of my friends definitely were kind of like, oh, kind of a little, you know, whoa, why are you doing that type thing? But I think now as the years have gone on, everyone just kind of knows that this is what we do and that's that. So yeah, thankfully we did not have anyone that like let their objection be heard, because that wouldn't have really gone over well with me or him, my husband, I mean. B. Bricky asked me for some of my favorite recipes. I will leave you my Pinterest link down below. I'm not a huge recipe girl. I totally just kind of like make stuff up and a little of this and a little of that. But some recipes I do follow and I usually find them on Pinterest. So I will leave my account down below and you can go and check it out. My board is called Yummy because I'm not creative. And that's where all my favorite recipes are. She also asked me, have I tried my father's world? The answer to that is no. I have not used it, although I did really look into it for our upcoming year after a ton of you guys recommended it to me. And I decided not to use it because if I were to do it, the advisor suggested starting with one of the world histories, but we have just finished a world history year with Sonlight, and I do not want to do that again. And if I don't want to do it again, then I know my kids are not going to want to do it again. So we decided not to go with my father's world because of that. And so yeah, I have not used it, but I definitely looked into it and it looks great, but it just wasn't going to be the right fit for this year. And then she also asked me, do we do unit studies? Kind of and kind of not. We're definitely going to be implementing more like unit study, project-based learning for the upcoming year, which is why I've made some changes. The Noble Baby asked me, what do I do with my older kids at the gym? Because she knows I'm a working personal trainer, but also a mom who totally loves fitness and goes to the gym and all of those things. I have shared a little bit about this in some of my day in the life videos, but I have no problem answering it again for you. So my younger two go into a kids gym area, which is for kids 8 and under, and it really is just a supervised play area. My kids are definitely some of the older ones in there, but they still don't mind going in there and playing for an hour to an hour and a half. It's really not a big deal. They've gotten to know the staff pretty well, and so I think they enjoy talking to the staff more than they actually play in there. My older two kids are too old, so they sit out nearby where I am training, wherever that is, because I'm not in the same spot every day. And depending on where I'm located within my gym depends on what they're doing. For instance, there is an area where there's like foosball tables and air hockey tables. And so if I'm down that way, then they might play on that. But I do plan their schoolwork with going to the gym in mind. So there are certain busy work, workbook, review, whatever you want to call it, type things that I do have them do at the gym that are completely just bonuses. They're not a curriculum I'm following. They're just workbooks I've picked up at the Dollar Tree or Barnes & Noble, you know, practicing writing. And then I have them do a fun reading book also on top of the reader that they're reading for their writing or language arts. So I'll usually tell them how many chapters I want them to read. And then after that, they will bring board games, they play chess, they play Guess Who, and they just kind of hang out, have a snack. That's usually how it goes. I don't work 5 hours a day, so it really is a short amount of time that they are actually required to find something to do, but I have a strict rule that they are not allowed to sit there doing nothing. So they do pretty well at following that. I don't know how to say, Web Allison, like I said, I'm going to butcher some of these Instagram names. Ask me, basically, has homeschooling made my kids closer? And I love this question because the honest answer is yes. My kids are each other's best friends, but that does not mean that they do not fight. They definitely fight, but they have learned how to get along with each other better Some days are rough and they're just being kids and they're not getting along, but I know that homeschooling has made their bond a lot stronger, especially when you consider that I do have a little girl who just turned 5 and her older sister is 10. And they get to play together on a daily basis. I mean, they get to play dolls, they get to do crafts together, they get to jump in the trampoline together. And if my older daughter was in public school, my younger daughter would be the only one home and she would not see her siblings, but especially her older sister, who she wants to be just like very often. And so yes, I think homeschooling has 100% made my kids closer. They are each other's best friends. Even when we go to like our homeschool co-op meetups every week, my kids still choose to play together mostly with their friends, but they're like a group together. But that's not to say that they don't ever have a disagreement, because they do. But that's just humans coexisting together in general. I mean, I get in disagreements with my husband. So yeah, I think homeschooling has strengthened their relationship, and it's made our family relationship stronger too. So not just the siblings, but all of us as a unit. So yes, on that. Heather Torres, my friend, if you're not following Heather on YouTube, you definitely should. Her channel is Heather Torres. I will link it down below. She asked me, she's a real life friend of mine. She asked me one thing that I learned through homeschooling that I wish someone would have told me ahead of time. And that is such a hard question, Heather. I honestly don't know. I guess it would be that you're going to have to let other things go, and that's okay. This is like a new season. This is a new adventure. This is, you're not going to be able to keep everything the exact same as it was and just make homeschooling on top of it, if that makes sense. You're going to have to make changes, like you're only one person. Keep that in mind, that type of stuff. I wish someone would have told me more about that. So yeah, Sophie, who lives in Greece, which I think is so awesome that there are viewers out there from all over the world watching. She lives in Greece, and she asked me, how did I find balance with 4 kids under 4? Because I did have 4 under 4 at one point, and I think she is in a similar season of life, which is a tough season to have 4 under 4. It's a whole lot of babies and a whole lot of toddlers. How did I find balance? I didn't have balance at first. I needed sanity, and so I started doing stuff like going out for a run every single day, whether that was in the morning when my husband was home, or at night, or in a jogging stroller. My husband and I also started making it a priority that we get out together alone. In the season of life when I had 4 kids under 4, you know, naps were a very big deal, and structure to our day simply for survival was what I did to control the chaos. And I got a lot of slack for that from family and friends about, oh, it's okay if they miss nap, or oh my gosh, you're so scheduled, you know, but they weren't the ones raising 4 kids under 4. And so I did not go out with friends very often. We definitely had a routine and a schedule, and my husband worked a lot back then, so I was usually on my own. So the things that I did to find balance were make sure that I started exercising again and make ways for that to happen, go on one-on-one time with my husband. And then our kids had bedtime, and bedtime was like the saving grace some days. And we would just watch TV and hang out and have no kids, and that brought a lot of balance into my life during that season. So those would be my suggestions to you, Sophie, but know that it passes, and one day you'll look back and you'll miss it a little bit, because I for sure do. Vegan Mama asked me, do I prep for school the night before? The answer is yes. We have a homeschool room, or area, should I say, and I always have my kids work on the where they sit, and they know the order from a little like schedule that I typed out at the beginning of the year. They don't need it anymore because they know the rhythm and flow of the day. Once they're done with this, they move on to this. They know what that is now, so I don't have the schedules out anymore. But yeah, it just sits on top of their table, and if we're doing a project or anything, I always have that ready to go. They have their pencil boxes with all their materials in it just set on the table so we're not looking for stuff. So yes, I always know what I am doing the night before. My guides are all open to the pages I need them to be on. The books are ready to go. And that just helps us jump right in without having them sitting there waiting on me. The board always has the date on it. Those are just some of the things that I prepare the night before. So the answer is yes. She also asked, do my kids give me a hard time on any particular subjects? The answer with that is no. There's not one particular subject that I could identify that they give me a hard time on, because they know now that they're going to have to complete what I ask them to complete. Whether they want that to take 3 hours or they want it to take 3 minutes is up to them. But they know that they do have to do what I ask of them. And so there's definitely subjects that they're less enthusiastic about learning something new about, or bring out frustrations, but no, they do not give me a hard time on a specific subject consistently, if that makes sense. And then the last question, you guys, the Mom Podge asked me for advice on finding a co-op that fits your family when you are a new homeschooler. And I feel like I could do a whole video on this. I might actually do a whole video on that. If you want to see a video on that, let me know down below. But to answer your question, it takes time. I tried a couple of groups out, and I knew, even if they were like, because most homeschooling groups will have like either a religious affiliation or something like that, so that you can be like, oh, this is my style. Unschoolers have homeschool groups. I wouldn't join an unschooling group because that's not the method that I use. I also wouldn't, the religious ones, you would obviously find one that fits within your belief system. So yeah, I looked for those and I found a couple, but even though they met what we had in common, when I went, I just didn't have a good time. And the co-op, in my opinion, is just as much for the mom as it is for the kids. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be like best friends day one, but in general, if you go to a co-op to try it out, and you don't feel welcomed, well, then that might not be the co-op for you, So it does take time to find one. So I would just say, keep at it, keep looking. Look for recommendations of friends. That way you can bring your friend can bring you and introduce you. That kind of helps. But it did take time. I want to say I tried out 4 different groups where we went to like just a meetup or an activity or something before I found the group that we are in currently, that I love. So yeah, just go and try them out would be my suggestion, and don't feel bad if it's not the group for you. You have to really pick and choose. And so yeah, the groups that I went to where they were like very like high school clicked up groups, like I don't want any part of that. So that was more for me than it was for my kids, but I just wasn't enjoying being there. So I didn't see that as something that we would want to continue. And then another one was more based on a certain curriculum. And I decided that curriculum wasn't going to be a good fit for us. So that community wasn't going to work out. So yeah, you just have to look. And so yeah, just keep trying. And the other thing I want to mention is, if you are a homeschooler, you can always start your own group. The group that I am a part of, that I love, was a brand new group that no one had. This group branched off from a bigger group and they were starting their own. And that has been the successful group. So don't be afraid of new groups either that are just getting started, or maybe you can be the group starter in your area and be the one that kind of takes charge of that. So those would be my suggestions. So this Q&A is super duper long. So if you made it to the end, thanks for watching. If you want to see more Q&As, be sure to follow me on Instagram so you can leave a question, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.